مرحبا وأهلا again to Arabic with Dima. I teach Arabic from the scratch. In the previous videos, we learned about الحروف الصحيحة or the consonants. And in today's class, we will continue talking about more حروف صحيحة. And we will talk about جيم, ح, and خا. And as usual, we will learn how to read each letter and how to write each letter separately and within a word. So the first letter is Jim. The pronunciation basically same as the ja sound in English. So it's ja, ja, ja. Next one is ha, ha, ha. And last one is kha, kha, kha. Now let's discuss the articulation of each letter. So the first one is jim. The j sound comes from the middle of the tongue and the upper palate. Ja, ja. It's basically the same sound of j in major. Ja, ja. Now let's practice pronunciation with the short and long vowels. Ja, ju, ji. And with the short vowels, ja, ju, and ji, ji. Now the ha sound comes from the middle of the throat. There's no equivalent in English, but you can try to cough and the sound is gonna come out. Ha, ha, ha. It's basically like a more hissy H. Also, you can try to clear your throat because it's so similar to the sound you make when you do it. Now let's practice pronunciation with the vowels. Ha, hu, he. And the short ones, ha, hu, he. Now the kha sound, this one comes from the back part of the tongue, like the root of the tongue meeting the soft palate. This one is a bit tricky because it has no equivalent in most languages, but it's so similar to the Scottish kha. You can try with me. Kha, kha, kha. Let's see how we pronounce them with the vowels. Kha, khu, khi. And the short ones, kha, khu, khi. Now let's move on to the part of writing. So we're gonna learn how to write each letter separately, and then we will discuss how to write it within a word. So let's start with the ha. You can see how we draw the ha sound. You can start like the upper part looks like the upper part of a triangle, and then you're gonna end up with a big curving. We can watch how it happens. Up, down, and then a big curving, just like the top part of a triangle. Up, down, and a big curving. Remember that the ha is like a bold version of these letters because we don't have anything on the top or down of it. Now the kha, it's the same as ha. The only difference is that we have one dot at the top, the upper part. Okay, so up, down, in a big curving. You're just gonna end up with one dot at the top. Up, down, in a curving, remember. And and the dot. Lastly, the jim, just like ha and kha, the only difference is where you place the dot, and it's inside the curving. So up, down, and a big curving, and a dot in the middle. Looks like a pregnant woman. You can think of it that way. Okay, so up, down, and big curving, and the dot inside. Let's do it one more time. Now let's discuss writing within a word. We have a rule also here which says if you have any of these letters and you don't have any letters after them, it means you have to keep it the same. Don't make any changes. However, if you have these letters and we have another letter after, this means you have to drop the last part of the letter, which is the big curving. You just need to delete it. So let's take an example on when we don't have a letter after. So the word here, milh, it ends with the ha, and we don't have anything after, so it's the same. Another example on jaras. Here we have the jim, we started with it, and after it we have ra. So you just end the big curving and the dot comes down, like below the first part. Now let's check more examples when we don't have, first when we don't have any letters after. So the first one with jim is thalj, thalj. Now as you can see, jim is at the end of the word, no letters after, it's the same. Next one is milh, an example on ha. As you can see here, milh ends with ha, and we don't have anything after, so it's the same. And on khawkh, it ends with kha, and nothing after, again, it stays the same. Now let's see what happens when we have a letter after. First example is jaras. As you can see here, we started with a jim, and there is a ra after, so we deleted or we dropped the curving at the end. And the dot comes down, comes below the first part. Next one is hoot. We have the ha at the beginning of the word. We have a waw after. That's why we also removed the last part of the ha, which is the curving, as you can see here. Last one is khubz. We started with kha, and because we have a ba after, we removed the last part of it. As you can see here, the dot is at the top, no changes, stays the same, only we removed the curving. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and like so I can upload more. Thank you so much. إلى اللقاء.